The purpose of this tutorial is to add the functionality that allows a user to disable his two-factor authentication. For this, we shall have to modify the login partial page so that the disabled two-factor authentication link is shown to him. The first step is to modify the login partial page so that we can show a link for disabling two-factor authentication. This link will appear if the user has already enabled it, and on the other hand, if he hasn't enabled it, then he should see the link for enabling it. Open the Solution Explorer and locate the login partial page. Double-click and open it so that we can examine the completed page. First, we have the directives for our namespace and tag helpers. Then we have used dependency injection to obtain an instance of the sign-in manager class. An if condition checks if the user is already signed in. If he is signed in, then we display his username and a logout link. The next if condition, it checks if two-factor authentication is already enabled. If it is enabled, then the link for disable authentication is shown, and otherwise the link for enable authentication is shown. So let us now add the page for disable authentication. Open the Solution Explorer and locate the folder MFA under the auth area. Add a razor page called Disable Authenticator. Double-click and open the Disable Authenticator.cs HTML file so that we can examine the markup. First, we have the directives for page and a namespace. Then we have used dependency injection to obtain an instance of the user manager service. And next we have used a functions block so that the handlers and properties can be written in this CS/HTML file itself. We will not be using a backing file. We will write all the properties and handlers in this very CS/HTML file. The message property will help us display a message for success or failure to the user. The onGet method is called when the page is reached by the user the first time. First, we use the user manager service to obtain the logged in user. If the user cannot be found, then an error response is sent. Otherwise, the set two-factor enabled method of the user manager service is used to disable two-factor authentication. If the function succeeds, we set the message property to show a success message, otherwise we show a failure message. Run the project and do a two-factor login. Ensure that the account you use here should already have two-factor authentication enabled. We have explained all this in the previous tutorials. You can refer those tutorials for this. Now we can verify that the link